Hey everybody, it's Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. Now I'm putting this one out a little bit later in the evening, so you may not be watching this, most of you anyways, may not be watching this until Wednesday, March 31st. Either way, welcome to this broadcast and let's get right into it today. So what is happening with rents? Are they dropping? Are they rising? Are they staying level? And how many people are still behind on the rents? We're going to talk about that and more. Let's get started. Apartmentlist.com just updated yesterday, March 29th. And what do we see here? Rents have resumed rising, and we're now level from a year ago. Now, when you look back over the previous years, we did see increases anywhere from about 1% up to almost 3%. So this year we were actually down year over year up until January when prices started going up again. We were down about 1.5% nationally, which is not a very big drop considering all the economic devastation that we have witnessed over the past year and all the job losses, small business closures, you name it. So we know that the housing market, including the rental market, has been rescued via moratoriums. Now, the narrative out there through the mainstream has been that there's an amazing economic recovery happening right now. So that must mean that we can go ahead and stop these rescue programs, right? So no more bans on evictions and foreclosures, no more moratoriums, right? Well, wrong. Let's take a look. This just out in the last 24 hours, WSWS.org. Last minute, U.S. government renews inadequate eviction moratorium for 3 more months. So we are extending the rescue programs. All right, so what kind of economic recovery are we in if we have to extend forever, possibly, these rescue programs? From this article, less than 2 days before it was set to expire on March 31st, the extension of the federal eviction moratorium was implemented, now pushing it out through June 30th, 2021. And does anyone think we're going to be able to resume normal in June, at the end of June? Or is it going to be a permanent eviction ban? All right, so what's going to happen in 3 months to allow millions of people that are behind on their rents now to make all the money, make enough back to go ahead and get caught up on the rents? It's not going to happen. It's a joke. The moratorium is all that's standing in the way between evictions and homelessness for nearly 9 million people. That's from this article. Nearly 9 million behind on their rent, according to a recent report from Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And this report also estimates that over 2 million families are at least 3 months behind on their mortgage payments. If you look at everybody that's behind, including 1 month or 2 months, it's going to be a lot more than that, but over 2 million still 3 months behind on their mortgage payment. That alone could cause a major shift in the housing market. Now, just in our last report, we talked about how when these handouts end and when these forgiveness programs ends, that's going to be the end of the housing market as we know it. Right? So we are continuing to see these programs extended, extend and pretend. That's the name of the game. Meanwhile, the rich continue to get wealthier. Okay, the small business, the small mom and pop landlord maybe owns 1 or 2 rental properties. They are the ones getting pummeled right now with this situation. Now, the 2+ million people that are 3 months or more behind on their mortgage payments is the most since the beginning of the Great Recession, 2008, 2009. But remember, back then, when the housing bubble went bust after 2008, people were getting their homes taken from them. They were foreclosed. This time is different. This is a never before seen economic rescue program, economic propping up of the failed system. Right now, I said some very dangerous words a few minutes ago. I said, this time it's different. Now, that's a phrase that's been used before. It is different this time for now, but things could change anytime. Remember, this is propped up, and when the when the legs get pulled out from under this propped up economy from the system, look out below. Overall, the CFBP estimates homeowners owe nearly $90 billion, that's billion with a B, in missed payments, while delinquent rent payments are estimated to be up to $57 billion as of this month. Also, the latest Census Bureau survey found that more than 5 million Americans say that they are at risk. They're currently at risk of eviction or foreclosure, and nearly 15% in some areas, for example, Mississippi, say that they have reported that they're not current. They're not current on their mortgage or their rent. 15%. So, folks, what a backwards, inside out economy. We have millions of people behind on their payments, both mortgages and rents, yet rents are still rising. This is just the opposite of what should be happening right now. Things should be becoming more affordable at this point, but the manipulation and the propping up of the system and all of these programs are actually causing more harm than they are good. Now, some people may say, "Hey, JJ, that's crazy talk. We're saving all these people from losing their homes. This is a great thing. No one should be homeless." Right, no one should be homeless. Why is homeless getting worse? Homelessness is rising, not dropping, even though we have record spending, record deficits, right? Exploding debts everywhere you look, but yet homelessness is getting worse. Why? Because all the propping up makes the cost of living unaffordable. Housing is unaffordable. Rent and the prices of homes both. And when you continuously prop up the lending system that allows more and more people to take on debt, and it keeps prices rising infinitely, right? Infinitely. The rising prices will not be contained until the lending system is reined in. Reined in. We know all the banks, they're creating money out of thin air. They're issuing debt, aka money. They're calling it money. It's actually debt. Money is created into thin air via debt, via lending and loans. And the higher home prices go, that pushes more people into having to rent because they can't afford the monthly payment on the home for a mortgage. And that also then increases rents because now you have bigger demand, more demand for rents. All right, recent report, nearly half of all Americans missed rent or a mortgage payment. New study reveals. Right, so normally you would look at this and say, okay, prices should be crashing. Half of Americans missed their housing payment, right, since the shutdown recession. But yet just the opposite. Why? Because the manipulation, the endless liquefaction of the banking system and allowing the banks to continue to lend endless amounts of money. Right now, many people are saying that we're going to start seeing some changes coming up here in April. We're going to keep an eye on it. The banks have begged the regulators not to re-implement the reserve requirement that previously all banks had to abide by prior to the shutdown recession. We're going to see how that unfolds. This entire economy, the prices, it's all in the hands of the controllers right now, the lawmakers and the regulators. It's all in their hands. They decide exactly what's going to happen. More rising prices, more propping, or the end of the bull market as we know it. It's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on this market here, especially the housing market with the rents and all the pending foreclosures. What's going to happen to bring this economy back from the black hole that we're sliding into? Right? Absolute nightmare that's pending, disaster for millions of people. And this country is not going to look the same when this thing begins to finally deflate. And I think crime's going to get a lot worse. There's going to be a lot more hungry, homeless, cold, starving, desperate people out there. So even the people that are prepared, that are not feeling the effects of this downturn, are going to be in bigger danger. So we need to be careful no matter what position you're in. Maybe you're a multimillionaire, and millions of hungry, starving, homeless, desperate people can also be some very, very dangerous people. And I think we've got a major, major crisis. There's already a crisis. It's going to get a lot worse, folks. Buckle up, stay prepared, watch closely to your surroundings when you're out and about. I know it seems okay now, like nothing bad is going to happen because we're being told we're in this amazing economic recovery, but all the facts point in the opposite directions, right? Stay diligent, stay safe, stay well, stay prepared, everybody. Bye for now. Peace.